Okay, so pre-foreclosure is, so pre is before. So all that means is a notice of default has been issued, someone's not making their payment. They're still owned by the owner. Until it's been foreclosed on, someone owns that property. So the only way to buy a pre-foreclosure is to contact the owner and see if they're willing to sell it to you. So that's just old school, down and dirty. Go knock on the door, send postcards, try to do a reverse lookup on their address and call them. But pre-foreclosure a lot of times can be a terrible deal, right? If like we just sold a duplex that's a foreclosure, so bank owned, and thousands of dollars in sewer bills, years behind property taxes, liens against the property for work that was done that was never paid for. And if you go buy something pre-foreclosure, you accept all the garbage that's associated with that title. When the bank forecloses, because they're typically in what's called first position, and if first position forecloses, second, third, they all get wiped out. So if you got like a home line of credit, so like a HELOC, or like a third mortgage, when the first position lender forecloses, they will notice these other people that are on title, that have trust deeds, other lenders, and they can either buy them out or take nothing. Because if you're first in priority, these guys go away. So once it's foreclosed, that all goes away. Now what stays is tax liens, county taxes, and utility bills.
And that's once it's in foreclosure.
Yeah, and then the bank has now knocked down all the other mortgages, but they'll still have to transfer this encumbrance here to someone else, or the IRS may just say, hey, it's ours, Mr. Bank, you're out. They'll have to pay the property taxes, get them up to speed, and then the utility bills. So buying a pre-foreclosure, unless you really know what you're doing, could be not good at all. Because you have no protection. You're gonna need a real estate attorney. You're gonna have to pay for title searches before you own the property. And there could be a lot of unrecorded liens or judgments against that just haven't popped up yet. So a lot of times during a foreclosure, there's like a 180-day right of rescission that the person that got foreclosed on can buy the property back. And if it's worth anything, they typically will. And if it's not, it's usually because it's got other issues that are really expensive. So I don't really recommend a pre-foreclosure unless you know what you're doing. Just find something that's for sale. Because if you're chasing down someone that's not making their payment, how reliable are they going to be to adhere to the terms of the contract? We already know that they're not making their payments. They're not adhering to that contract. Are they going to move out when they say they're going to move out? Are they actually going to pay these utility bills or these taxes?
So when it's pre-foreclosure, you have those three things, but when it's foreclosure, do you still have those three, or does that get wiped out?
Pre-foreclosure, you're going to have all the liens
Okay.
to deal with.
Okay.
Right? So let's say that the place is worth $300. They've got a $250,000 owed on their first mortgage, and then they owe $65,000 on a home equity line of credit. So that is, they got $315 in liens. That means they need this to get it free and clear. So most of the time, the reason that they're in foreclosure is because they owe more than it's worth. And so that doesn't do anything pre-foreclosure. If this is the case, you'd have to go to a short sale, where now the first is going to get paid off, and then we have to negotiate with this guy to take less than what's owed. Now, sometimes they'll do that, but as they say, there's nothing short about a short sale. Because this guy's, hey, we're good. And these people are saying, hey, this person agreed to pay us back the 65. Now you're saying that we can only get 50? Or you have commissions as well. So now we're only going to get 35 out of our 65. Forget it. We'll buy this guy out and foreclose on him. Sell the property, get our money back. So I think the reason pre-foreclosure comes up so much is because Zillow has created this, and it's just a big nuisance for everyone, really. These things aren't real. These things are not for sale, and they're usually not worth buying. That's why we just go for foreclosures, because the bank's already repoed it. We know the right owner is in charge, and it can be sold. But at this point, you're asking for a headache and you're probably not gonna get anywhere, right? Mostly because you got stuff, first, second, third mortgages, other types of liens that unless you have cash and you really know what you're doing, you're gonna get in trouble with.
And when it's a foreclosure, you don't take on those liens?
Yeah, the bank is gonna be responsible to provide you a clean title.
Okay.
If you're using a professional. Now, if you go to a sheriff's auction, same thing as a pre-foreclosure, you better know what you're doing. Because there can be a lot of stuff attached to that. Like, hey, I got this place for $100,000 and it's worth $3 million. And then you find out IRS, county taxes, and there's a third lien that was never foreclosed properly or notified. All of a sudden, you're responsible for all those bills. And it's in your name, so now it's your problem.